Militaries across the world have developed special operations units that are capable of doing what seems damn near impossible. While it's a feat to get into the military in general, getting into a special operations unit can take years of hard work, preparation, and determination. But there are some special operations units that distinguish themselves from the rest. These units, sometimes called Tier 1 units, are the best of the best. These types of units operate under the veil of secrecy, barely leaving a trace of what they do or who they are. There are several of these units around the world, but today we are going to focus on the elite units from Sweden, Denmark, Belgium, Germany, and England. With that said, what sets these units apart? How much is known about them? And most importantly, what do they do? We're going to answer all those questions for you and much more. What's up everyone? I'm Veteran Vinny, the voice behind General Discharge. Join me as I cover 5 Tier 1 units from around the world. Let's kick things off with the Swedish Special Operations Task Group. The Swedish Special Operations Task Group, or SOG for short, is Sweden's Tier 1 Special Operations unit. Highly secretive, this unit has been operationally active since 2011 after 2 Special Operations units, the Special Protection Group and Special Reconnaissance Group, were merged to create it. Swedish SOG has operated in various theaters, from Africa to Afghanistan and Iraq, and it is also utilized domestically. Because of the tight seal that Sweden keeps on this unit, there is little to no publicly available information about Swedish SOG, giving it an air of secrecy much like other units of this caliber. Swedish SOG is mainly leveraged in multinational special operations missions, and conducts missions revolving around eliminating high-value targets, complex rescue operations of persons held captive or hostage, and gathering time-critical intelligence. They also have the ability to augment police counterterrorism assets and work on foreign internal defense. But first, are you sick of those random spam calls and texts you get all the time? Those are from data brokers who are making a fortune selling your personal information to robocallers, spammers, and other shady individuals on the internet. But if you use Aura, today's sponsor, you won't have to worry about those anymore. Aura can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to remove your info if you ask them to, but they make it super hard to do. Aura makes it as easy as 1, 2, 3 and handles it all for you. Plus, Aura is super easy to set up and comes with a bunch of cool features like antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and much more, which can all protect you and your family from online threats you can't see. If you use our link aura.com/generaldischarge, you get a 2-week risk-free trial where you'll be able to find out who's been leaking your information and start protecting yourself in minutes. If you're a fan of the disguised voice and face, then join the team and start protecting yourself too. Don't let people continue to exploit and profit off your private information. Again, that's aura.com/generaldischarge for your 2-week risk-free trial. Links in the description or pinned comment below, or you can scan the QR code on screen. Now back to the video. Because of how capable Swedish SOG is, the unit must maintain a high degree of readiness and be able to deploy on a moment's notice to anywhere within thousands of miles. In fact, it can be deployed on request by the European Union, United Nations, or NATO. The operating element of Swedish SOG is called a patrol, which consists of 4 operators. Each SOG patrol will have a patrol leader, combat medic, breacher, and communicator. 3 of these 4-man patrols make up a troop, but we don't know how many troops are in a squadron. The patrols can be augmented with other specialists such as snipers, JTACs, and EOD technicians. In order for someone to join this highly prestigious unit, one has to go through an extremely difficult and grueling selection process. So tough, in fact, that it's been known to wash out up to 90% of those who try out. Candidates will be put through a 2 to 3 week course that tests them physically, mentally, and psychologically. If they make it through that, they'll get put into a year-long operator training course that will give them the tools and training they need to be operational in a SOG patrol. As Sweden's only Tier 1 Special Operations unit, Swedish SOG has taken on the role of defending Sweden against both internal and external threats and will continue to do so under the shadows. With Swedish SOG covered, let's move on to Danish Special Forces. I'm wrapping 2 elite special operations units in this section, but don't worry, there's still 3 left to go after this. I didn't cheap you out. Denmark has 2 elite special operations units known as the Jaeger Corps and Frogman Corps. For you Spec Ops aficionados, you can think of the Jaeger Corps as the Green Berets and the Frogman Corps as the Navy SEALs. One has a focus on land and one has a focus on the water. Both of these units fall under Denmark's Special Operations Command. The Jaeger Corps, which translates to Huntsman Corps in English, was founded in 1961 as a military long-range reconnaissance patrol unit. It was modeled after the 75th Ranger Regiment and British Special Air Service, so the way it is structured and how it operates has traces of those units. Following the end of the Cold War, from roughly 1992 to 1995, the Jaeger Corps underwent a significant transformation into a special operations unit. It mainly specializes in unconventional warfare, reconnaissance, and counterterrorism, but its capabilities can go far beyond that. It has been actively involved in missions from various regions, including the Balkans, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Africa. The unit was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation in 2004 for its outstanding efforts in Afghanistan as part of Task Force K-Bar. The number of operators in the Jaeger Corps is confidential, but reportedly quite small. This makes the selection process much more difficult due to the unit not needing a large number of replacement operators. So, what does it take to get into the Jaeger Corps? Selection for the Jaeger Corps takes place once a year and takes about 18 months in total to complete. The attrition rate is around 90%. The selection and assessment and qualification course is broken down into different phases. Candidates will learn various operator skills, such as shooting, demolition, parachuting, and combat swimming. Moving on to the Frogman Corps, Denmark founded this unit even earlier than the Jaeger Corps in 1957. Modeled after the United Kingdom's Special Boat Service, the unit was designated a Special Operations Unit in 1970. As their name would suggest, Frogmen focus on special maritime operations and are well equipped and trained in advanced scuba diving. In addition, they often support the Danish police and any other military or naval authorities when their services are requested. They serve as both combat swimmers and an assault unit, capable of conducting long-range reconnaissance, direct action, and other tasks similar in scope to the US Navy SEALs. They've also done plenty of work in counter-piracy operations. The Frogman selection process is also undoubtedly difficult, lasting approximately 9 months. Candidates are put through a series of difficult training evolutions that revolve around the water, ranging from a combat swimmer course, advanced scuba diving course, rescue swimmer course, and a survival course. With the Danish Special Forces covered, let's move on to Germany GSG-9. Germany's GSG-9, which stands for Border Protection Group 9 in German, is the primary counterterrorism tactical unit of the German Federal Police. Formed in the wake of the massacre from the 1972 Munich Olympic Games, their motto is to protect the fatherland. GSG-9 specializes in counterterrorism in response to incidents both domestically and abroad. In fact, GSG-9 is so good at what it does that even the US Army consulted with them when it was creating Delta Force. Because GSG-9 falls under the German Federal Police, this special operations unit has arrest powers. You can pretty much think of them as Germany's FBI hostage rescue team. GSG-9 consists of roughly 400 highly trained police officers whose identities remain classified by the German government. Aside from counterterrorism, they are activated for hostage rescue missions as well as other high-risk law enforcement operations, such as kidnapping, extortion, and serious organized crime. There's no shortage of work for GSG-9, as they complete around 50 to 60 missions each year, and are always developing and improving their methods and tactics for each mission they partake in. Operationally, GSG-9's structure is divided into 4 combat units, each with its own specialization, as well as multiple support units. The first operational unit specializes in sniping. The second operational unit specializes in diving and maritime operations. The third operational unit specializes in airborne operations, and the fourth operational unit specializes in urban combat and reacting to any terrorist attacks on the nation's capital. In order for someone to join GSG-9, they must be under 34 years of age and have at least 2 years of service before they can apply. Upon application, candidates will undergo a 5-day assessment that includes a medical exam, marksmanship tests, physical and psychological tests, and an interview. The 10 to 15% that make it through the 5-day assessment will be accepted into the actual training pipeline. The GSG-9 pipeline lasts approximately 5 months, split into basic training and specialization components. Here, candidates will receive training in marksmanship, close quarters combat, climbing, land navigation, tactical courses, rappelling, and medical training. Training doesn't stop upon completion of the pipeline, however, as GSG-9 needs to constantly refine their skills so they can respond to the ever-evolving incidents that occur each year. Additional training opportunities include freefall, maritime operations, advanced marksmanship, advanced medical skills, surveillance, and EOD training. With Germany GSG-9 covered, let's move on to Special Forces Group Belgium. Belgium's Special Forces Group stands as Belgium's Tier 1 Special Operations Unit and has a rich history in various military operations throughout its existence. The history of the Special Forces Group dates all the way back to World War II, where it was known as the 5th Special Air Service, or the Belgian SAS Squadron. This is why one of its two mottos, "Who Dares Wins," is shared with the SAS. Its other motto is "Far Ahead." The Special Forces Group is the Special Operations Force of the land component of the Armed Forces of Belgium. It was established as we know it in 2000, and since then has undergone various organizational changes and structures. But what has remained the same is the fact that it is an extremely capable and lethal force full of highly trained operators ready to execute special operations missions. Belgium's Special Forces Group mainly deals with three overarching missions. The first is direct action, which is seizing, destroying, disrupting, capturing, exploiting, recovering, or neutralizing high-value targets. The next is special reconnaissance, which is gathering intelligence by means of human intelligence, close target reconnaissance, and eyes-on-target surveillance. And the third is military assistance, which can include foreign internal defense and other means of engaging with local, regional, and national organizations and forces. As experts in maritime, land, and air operations, the Special Forces Group has operational detachments that specialize in Halo airborne operations, amphibious operations teams trained in combatant diving, watercraft, and advanced amphibious capabilities, and land operations teams trained in mobility and advanced mountain capabilities. The operating element for the Special Forces Group consists of a team officer, a senior non-commissioned officer, and 10 operators. This 12-man team is extremely similar to the US Army Green Berets operating element. The training pipeline to join the Belgian Special Forces Group consists of several distinct parts, including a selection phase, basic training, complementary education, and functional training. Each phase lasts several weeks to months, adding up to years of training that forges candidates into fully fledged operators. Depending on the specialization that an operator gets placed in, there are multiple follow-on schools that they can go to really hone in on their designated mission set. With Special Forces Group Belgium covered, let's move on to the United Kingdom's Special Boat Service. UK's Special Boat Service is the elite Tier 1 maritime counter-terrorism unit of the Royal Navy. As the sister unit of the Special Air Service, they are mainly responsible for missions revolving around submarine infiltration, underwater and beach reconnaissance, and underwater demolitions. As to be expected from a Tier 1 Special Operations unit, much of the information about the SBS is highly classified. The unit is not commented on by either the British government or the Ministry of Defence due to the secrecy and sensitivity of its operations. The mission of the SBS is extremely multifaceted, as its operators are trained in specialized disciplines to carry out different types of very demanding missions. While its bread and butter will always be oriented towards maritime counterterrorism, hostage rescue, and covert raids, it also deals with support operations ranging from directing airstrikes, artillery, and naval gunfire, as well as close quarters battle, halo and hey-ho jumps, fast roping, surveillance and reconnaissance, unconventional warfare, you name it. They can do it all and then some. Their motto is, by strength and guile. The SBS often receives support from the other elite United Kingdom Special Forces units, such as the Special Reconnaissance Regiment, which has taken over a lot of the surveillance and reconnaissance for the SBS, allowing it to focus on offensive action, influence, and support. Operationally, the SBS is organized into 4 squadrons, which are C, X, Z, and M, respectively. These squadrons are organized into 4 16-man troops, and these troops are usually broken down into 4-man patrols, 2-man canoe teams, or 8-man teams. However, it's been reported that the SBS has recently been operating in larger teams. These 4 squadrons have been known to specialize in certain roles. The C and X squadrons were specialists in canoe and small boat operations. The Z squadron specialized in underwater attack and insertion, and the M squadron was trained for marine counter counterterrorism operations, always on standby to respond to terrorist threats. It's believed that the SBS squadrons rotate into these roles on a 6-month basis. In order to join the Special Boat Service, candidates undergo an extremely similar selection process as those who are joining the Special Air Service. Collectively, it's known as the UK Joint Special Forces Selection. In a nutshell, there are 3 big phases of selection. There's the endurance phase, which gets its name from how it tests physical fitness and mental stamina, such as making them ruck 40 miles with a 55-pound pack in the Brecon Beacons. There's also jungle training, where they receive loads of training in the dense, hot jungles of Brunei, Belize, or Malaysia. And then there's the escape, evasion, and tactical questioning phase, where they receive world-class training in the SAS Killing House and get SEER training. Once that phase is over, the SAS candidates graduate, but SBS candidates must stay to complete the Swimmer Canoeist 3rd Class, or SC3 course, which lasts for about 8 weeks. Here, they learn maritime skills such as diving, boating, submarine infiltration, canoeing, and underwater navigation and demolition. Once that's over with, they can call themselves a real Special Boat Service operator. Thus, all SPS operators receive the same initial training as SAS operators, plus they specialize in maritime operations. This is why some have endearingly said that the SPS chooses slightly stronger and bigger members than the SAS. With everything said, all of these Tier 1 units contribute significantly to global security and have earned a high level of respect for their skill, discipline, and professionalism. While we may only know what their governments will allow us to know about what these units do, we can rest easy knowing that they are on our side and protecting our interests. If you're interested in learning about more Tier 1 units from around the world, we've done a video covering 8 other Tier 1 units. Clearly, there's no shortage of these. It is a must-watch. Scan the QR code on screen or go to the link in the description below to go watch it. Well, that is the down and dirty of 5 Tier 1 units from around the world. If you learned something from this video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to our channel. As always, thank you for watching. Do you even want to be here?
All your friends are subscribing to General Discharge, and you don't even want to be here.